Hi, Chris Good here, and we're talking about another drug mechanism, and today we're focusing on antipsychotic drugs. An older term for antipsychotics is neuroleptics, and these are the drugs that are used to treat mental disorders like schizophrenia and other related psychotic disorders. Now, if you haven't already, please watch the stimulants mechanism video first. That explains our general synapse model, I think, pretty clearly, which you'll need to understand before you get to this video. Just like in that synapse model, we're going to draw in our synaptic vesicles that are releasing neurotransmitter molecules, and in this case we're releasing dopamine as our neurotransmitter. Dopamine is going to bind to its receptor postsynaptically, so we've got some dopamine receptors right here. We're just going to label those clearly. So this is dopamine, and this is dopamine receptor. You'll also see this abbreviated as DAR and DA. So DA for dopamine and DAR for dopamine receptor. So when dopamine binds to its receptor, right, it activates the receptor, and then depending on what type of dopamine receptor is expressed, and there are several types, different things might happen to this postsynaptic neuron. It might make it more likely to fire an action potential. It might make it less likely to fire an action potential. It all depends on the receptor that's expressed and what happens when it binds the transmitter that's released from the presynaptic neuron. All right. So when someone is exhibiting symptoms of a psychotic disorder like schizophrenia, right, these molecules of the drug, right, the antipsychotic drug, travel all throughout the bloodstream and get everywhere, right, inside your synapses, in between all of your neurons. They're not going to do anything until they find something to stick to. And what antipsychotic drug molecules like to stick to is dopamine receptor, but they don't activate it when they stick to it, right? They don't enhance the action of dopamine. They actually block the receptor. They sit there and prevent dopamine from binding to its receptor, and so you don't get that effect. Whatever the effect is postsynaptically, we actually don't get it when the dopamine receptor blocker or the dopamine receptor antagonist is present. So we can describe antipsychotics as dopamine receptor antagonists. They prevent dopamine from binding there. Because blocking dopamine receptor eliminates some of the positive symptoms of schizophrenia, and because dopamine receptor agonists like cocaine and amphetamines can actually bring on symptoms like those positive symptoms of schizophrenia, this led to the dopamine hypothesis for this disorder. And you can learn more about that dopamine hypothesis and the more recent glutamate hypothesis in another video that's posted on our website. We'll see you next time with another drug